All right, welcome back. So today is the after run from Big Bertha. So I want to take a look at this thing. Every time you run your RC hard, you shouldn't just throw it wherever you throw it. You should, my experience is, wipe it down, look it over, check all the hardware, make sure nothing's about to break, broken. You'll be surprised on what you can find when when just looking over your RC car. So the first thing I like to do is get them onto the bench. Like I said, this is an after run. I haven't blown it off. I haven't cleaned it. It had a pretty rough day out there. And I'm really surprised because with all the tumbles and everything we had, the body on this, I don't think anybody's talked about it. The body's taken a beating, but I don't think it looks that bad. I don't see any major damage. There are some crush points on it, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. But we're going to go ahead. I use a 3D dry wash when they're this dirty. Another thing I'll do is I'll soap them. I'll take them off. I'll throw them in the sink. I got a brush and some soapy water. But I don't think this body's that bad. I don't want to start brushing on this thing when I don't have a bunch of scratches on it. So the dry wash, the 3D dry wash, really works good. And it's hard to call something a dry wash when it's actually a liquid. You know what I mean? But you're not using soap, water, that kind of stuff. This chemical is just going to break down the dirt, loosen it. It's going to loosen up the dirt so that when we wipe it, we're not just destroying the thing, you know? So I'll let it sit here a minute. Use a microfiber. We're going to go ahead and just wipe it off. This loosens the dirt so that the dirt's not scratching anything. Nice thing about the RC bodies is the paint is actually on the other side. So Traxxas, they use these window stickers, and surprisingly, with all the protection they got on this body, it's doing pretty good. So I'll just kind of wipe the upper arms. The metal flake in this paint is actually pretty good. These side bumpers, those are also, it's like everywhere they've put protection for this, even with this loose front bumper, it's doing, I think, better than any other RC I've had on the market in a long time. I mean, the Sledge does pretty good. You know, the clipless body system that they're doing, I think, is pretty cool. But this one's actually showing that they learn from that. Every time Traxxas does something, they tend to learn from it. And they make things just a little bit better. You know, I see a lot of guys, you know, I don't know if it's just hating on the brand or what, but, you know, talking about I'm going to hang on to my Outcast, that thing's just, you know, it's a race truck that should be on a track, and it doesn't perform well, and blah, 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 and I don't know. Unless you're out there trying RC cars, now I'm not saying go out and spend $1,000 like I'm doing just to see if it's good or bad, but that's what these videos are for. These videos are to show you the capability of the truck, and that's where I've been leaning my channel, is to give you the cold hard facts on whether it's good or bad. I mean, I could care less if this RC does good or bad. Actually, when it does bad, the videos do better. But when I tell you that the RC is actually surprising me and it's doing well, and you know, when I say stuff like it's based off the X-Max, because the X-Max to me has been a super reliable truck. I mean, if it wasn't a reliable truck, I would tell you. And I know some people have broken these wings. So we're going to look into that, make sure nothing's coming loose there. We had some pretty hard crashes with this thing. So all I'm doing, as you see, is just a little bit of dry wash. Nothing fancy. Just to try to keep your RC decent, you know? You spent $1,000 on this thing. The wing is taking a beating on these corners. I might just lob them off. But we'll see when we get down to reviewing this truck. I want to take it out a few more times. I'm just putting in a lot of hours at work right now, so there hasn't been many update videos like I would normally do. We're all getting ready for Christmas. Got to put in that extra overtime to get some Christmas money around. So now that I've pretty much wiped down the outside before I've even opened it, I'm telling you, this is... Oh, look at this. So the body clip, this corner was up. So somehow this body clip ripped out and wasn't sitting right. This clipless body. Now I did see, let's see if we can snap this thing back in. Yeah, it's pretty twisted. I might have to heat it up because it's got memory. Yeah, so what I'll do is it did clip back in. I can feel it. So I'm gonna, you know, eventually when I'm done checking it over, I'm gonna clip the body in and then just let it sit, you know, with the body clipped on, which normally I wouldn't do. So you can tell, I might even put some heat to this to straighten this thing back out, but it was probably on, you know, that crash on Big Bertha that this thing popped out, and then it just kind of sat that way. So the other thing is, back here, you can see from the wing flexing so much, it's starting to show that there are some impacts, and it is getting into the body. It's crushed in right here. It's got a dimple over there. It's got some signs here showing some dimples. So those big hard crashes from 30 feet up on Big Bertha will show their signs. I mean, it will destroy, like the X-Max always breaks up back here. It's a common area in the back. You see right here? It's a common area for the X-Max to get damaged. Because I think we all kind of land the same way. We either land, you know, perfectly flat and slap the chassis real hard, or we'll land nose down. A lot of the times we'll land tail down. Because what happens is you're trying to get the RC to land. Suspension will collapse. It'll hit the wing, wheelie bar, all that stuff. This stuff bends into the body. And sometimes you misjudge it. And that's why I like durable RC cars for bashing. I mean, if you're a perfect driver, shout out you. But no way am I a perfect driver. I mean, I have a little control, but I'm no professional by any means. I've just been running a long time. You can see there's rocks in here. That's road debris, probably from the speed run. I got sand in here. My fans are tight. I did see somebody's fans got loose. I'm going to shrink tube these. I'm going to spread them out and shrink tube them, so I'm going to do both. And I'll show you how I do that. But I'm going to take this into the garage. I've already showed you how I blow it out. I'm going to get the batteries out of here. I haven't even put the pins in this. And because they flip these around from the Traxxas, or from the X-Max, because the X-Max you pull out and flip them up and the batteries come out easily. These, you flip the bracket out. So I think this is a better way for securing the batteries, even though there's holes there for pinning it. These things are Nice and tight, fit good. And they've been holding in the battery packs, 8500s, like I was telling you guys. Big packs. They're not small. So I'm going to take this to the garage, blow it out. We're going to get it back on the bench here real quick. All right, so I got it all blown out, so I'm going to lock the trays back in. We're going to flip it upside down and take a look at our chassis. So the guard did break a little bit more, which is to be expected once it's broken. Wheelie bar wheels, all that seems to be okay. A little dry wash on the chassis so that I can look it over, see if I can see any cracks, anything funny. Control arms, I'll show you the gouges in those things. Steering links, wipe them off, make sure there's nothing cracking. Because the worst thing is thinking that your RC is okay, you take it out the next time, and next thing you know, it breaks right away because you missed something. You never know. Traxxas' owner's manual always tells you after the run, go ahead and inspect the RC, service it, whatever you got to do. Look it over, tighten all the screws after every run. I did 2 runs before I looked over the RC straight out of the box. Never looked at it. Then I found this problem, which some guys are breaking them, some guys aren't. It's a good time to check your tires. I'm probably going to re-glue them because this inside one looks like they possibly could start pulling out. But I'll just glue them as a precaution. I don't see anything funny happening yet. But I think they sit in a bead in here. Make sure the steering works. So let's just take a real close look at this chassis. So all I'm doing is looking for some physical. There's a gouge right here, but nothing that's damaged the chassis. The hardware is looking really good. You can see the gouges that are here on the chassis, but nothing nothing out of the ordinary. Our motor washers are doing good. You can see the gouge right here. Some plastic, but that's what these things are for, is to protect everything. Hinge pins are looking pretty good. I don't see anything bent, nothing sticking. There's a big gouge on the control arm right here. So that took a rock impact. These take a beating back here. These lower arms, you can see, God, this one has just been hammered. And the little screw that holds in the pin for these shocks, the head of it is just getting beat up. So rear arms are definitely taking a beating. This hinge pin deal right here on the bearing carrier, you guys probably can't see it, but I'm going to bring you in. This thing's got stress cracks on it. So I'm going to get a light set up and show you what I mean. All right, so this bearing carrier, if you look right here, this piece looks bent out. The lower control arm looks like it's bending out. I don't know if you guys can see that, but right here, this piece here, it's actually the control arm. Looks like this pin, this hinge pin right here holding this onto the control arm, looks like it could be bent right here on the end. We're going to take a look at the other side, and that's how it should look. But so far, this piece right here looks like it's bent out a little bit. So I might pop that out and take a look at that. Let's look at the other side. This is how it should look. No gap, no gap. Nice and straight. That's how it should be looking. And it's just not that way. Those are the things I look for. because if that hinge pin breaks, we could be blaming it on a jump when it's not the jump's fault. That this could be pre-existing condition from the next run. Front one's looking okay. We're looking pretty good in there as well. Let me get you back on the stand. So now that I just quickly checked the underneath, when I flip it over, we're going to check some of the other stuff. So what I'm looking for is any loose hardware, anything sticking out, any shock caps, springs, any bases coming out. Everything's looking pretty good. I do like this this captured design here for the shock. They have it on the X-Max as well. This low slung bulkhead type thing without the body slipping in over here seems to be a lot stronger than the X-Max bulkheads, front and back. I think the weak point is going to be these pieces here. And I don't know if it's this end or if it's going to be the body end. Center drive shaft's looking okay. ESC's holding in well. Covers are doing well. Everything's locked in. Everything's tight. ESC's not coming loose. Fans aren't coming loose. Connectors are good. So I'm going to get these things. Let's see. So these, mine are tight. But we're going to get some shrink tubing put on. See, that one's kind of loose. I just take a 3mm, just roll it in there. Push it, roll it around, and that'll make it tighter. I'm going to throw some shrink tubing on here, and we're going to get it shrunk down. Let me get some shrink tubing. Okay, a little shrink tubing kit from Harbor Freight. 120 piece set. We're going to see which one fits on here the best. Yeah, yellow it is. Nice and tight because we opened them up. Now we're going to get them slid over. We're just going to do it like that. Get this up out of the way. And then my torch. Burns-O-Matic. Always on 3. Quick, easy fix, as simple as that. Now they can't come unplugged without ripping the heat shrink. And then if you need to take them off, you just take this, go ahead and you can slice it here, just around the connector, unplug it, and put another piece over it. It'll just keep getting thicker until eventually you can slice them off. But there we go. So the only real damage that I'm seeing is to this body thing. It's right here. Should grab my heat gun. We're just going to heat this up a little bit. Straighten that out a little bit. Brand used. Now I'm going to clip it in. Make sure it's locking in. We're going to let it sit and cool like that. But there you go. So far, Big Bertha hasn't killed it. And overall, I think the RC is good. Wings good. Front bumper's good. Control arms are good. We just have that one hinge pin that possibly could be bent. And then one body clip that's on the body. But overall, if you saw, you know, those 30-foot drops with this body, I think it did real good. But there we go. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Did it hold up okay? I left the comparison video of the Traxxas, X-Max, and the XRT clip for clip. It's amazing how I ran this one, then ran the other one, but I can land in the same area and the jumps look like I purposely did it to where each clip lined up and it landed either to the right or to the left. Even the berm deals were pretty good. Really shows you the handling characteristics. Now, not a lot of people watched that video. I spent a lot of time editing that, taking the clips from this and the clips from the X-Max and matching them up so that you guys could have a side-by-side comparison on how similar this RC is to the X-Max. Just a low center gravity version X-Max with some tires that just don't balloon as much. So it doesn't give you that rotation like the X-Max. A lot of people said just change out your tires, put on some X-Max tires, put on some sledgehammer tires. But then I'm turning this into an X-Max, and that's not something I want to do. I own two of them. And I set up my X-Maxes different so that I had a different experience. One wide kit X-Max, one standard width X-Max with sledgehammer tires on it. And now we have this low center of gravity X-Max, in my opinion. Great basher. Even with the limited steering, we did okay. I will put the Servo X in this, just like I did my X-Maxes. One of them has a stock servo, but the other one, my blue one, is upgraded with the X. The upgraded steering servo, because after 8 years it went bad. But we're going to run this in here as long as we can. And then after that, we're going to start doing some upgrades. And I don't even know if they're upgrades. Anything that breaks or happens to this, we're going to fix. But I do want to get a Max 6 in here. See how that performs. See if I can just get a little bit more punch out of this. Because I think if I can, I'll get the rotations I need with these tires. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.